Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining Withum and ZoneReporting powered by Satori today. We have a great NetSuite presentation in store for you all. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items to cover. First, you will all be on mute throughout the webinar while it is being recorded. We do encourage you to send in your questions through the module. At the bottom of the GoToWebinar toolbar, you will see a chat box. You can submit your questions there at any time, which our speakers will answer at the end of their presentation. And once the Q&A is over and we wrap up, you will be prompted to fill out a survey. It will only take a few minutes and we greatly appreciate your feedback. You will also receive today's slide deck and recording in a follow-up email. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Higgins, our NetSuite lead here at Withum. Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Alexis. Hi, I'm Chris Higgins. I am a manager of our NetSuite practice here at Withum. I've been with the company for about a year and a half now and come with about 15 years of back office corporate finance experience. Previous NetSuite user of my own, now delve into the implementation and management of clients' NetSuite instances and help them optimize their systems and drive efficiencies to their business process through technology, people, and process. Just a little bit about me. Josh, over to you.
macOS contains a built-in screen reader called
Thanks,
VoiceOver.
Chris.
If you know how to use VoiceOver,
Next
press
slide.
Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up
There
your
we
Mac,
go.
press the Escape.
Hey everybody, Josh LaSov, the original founder of Satori Reporting, now what's called ZoneReporting. About me, I'm actually an accountant by trade. I'm also a certified NetSuite ERP consultant. I've had the pleasure of completing over 100 NetSuite implementations, and as you'll see today, a lot of experience with reporting and BI tools and NetSuite, and looking forward to showing you what we have.
Great. Thanks, Josh. So why are you here? Hopefully you're not looking for a press conference on the Jets signing Aaron Rodgers or something about Lamar Jackson and his agent or non-agent. You're likely a NetSuite customer who is currently looking to expand on reporting capabilities, or you're a prospective customer that's looking to see what is possible to advance your current ERP situation to the next level. Our team at Withum takes a "why are you here" approach to our client interactions to try and drive to the best solution possible for our clients. We try to understand your business from a ground up level to take that entire journey with you alongside of you so that we can better provide solutions for your organization to drive efficiency and understand along with you guys what you're doing on a regular day-to-day basis. With that said, Alexis, if you could go to the next screen. We utilize an operational excellence model and a customer journey approach to our internal project management. And we will utilize the people, process, and technologies to drive to better results for your organization. A lot of the value in what we provide as a team and alongside you as consultants is from our experience within the technology sector, and also understanding that we're business people first and trying to implement those processes alongside of you guys. We utilize a hybrid method of implementation. It's a hybrid between Agile and Waterfall, and we believe that drives the best result for all of our clients during these complicated implementations. Next. And here you can see some of our products that we support and operations that we take with our clients. Some of our offerings are full service implementations for ERPs. We also do a upfront tech strategy consultation with your organization. We have a managed services arm. We drive system optimizations through health checks and process enhancements. We also drive into change management to help your organization evolve with the ever-changing technology. And also with organizations like ZoneReporting and others, we run third-party system integration projects, and which is how Josh and I began our partnership not long ago. You know, one of the major challenges for a lot of our client base is pulling the correct reports out of NetSuite and how to drive to the desired results for their reporting process. Whether it's for whether you're a portfolio company for a private equity backed organization, or you're a startup company looking to get seed investors, having the data and being able to put it into a real life presentation is extremely important. Some of that process, as many of the NetSuite users know, can be complicated and convoluted, and that's where we've seen a lot of value added from the ZoneReporting program. And you know, with that said, I'll turn it over to Josh.
Perfect. Yeah, so we'll take everyone through about, I think it's 5 or 6 slides. I'll make it go really quick, and then we'll jump into an actual mini product demo, so you can actually see the product live and what it does and the value that it provides. So if we can go to that first slide, please, that would be great, and I'll start going through it. The first ZoneReporting slide, please. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Chris, do you see the first ZoneReporting slide? I don't see it yet.
It says I'm showing about ZoneReporting currently.
Okay, it must be my screen that's not refreshing here. Bear with me. Yeah, you know what? My screen must not be refreshing. Let's do this. I'm going to pull it up on my screen instead. That way I can make sure we see it. So let me, Alexa, do you mind if I grab control and I'll take you through the next couple slides?
No problem, Josh.
All right, thanks. Bear with us here. I think you have to pass control to me, please. There we go. Okay. Now let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I'm going to choose screen 3. Perfect. Okay. So you should see a PowerPoint now. So let's take you through about, like I said, 5 or 6 slides, and we'll actually just jump right into the product demo. So we're ZoneReporting. We're the only pre-built NetSuite reporting tool inside of Microsoft Power BI. For those of you who are newer to Power BI, it's the #1 ranked BI or business intelligence tool by pretty much everyone, Gartner, Forrester, G2 Crowd, you name it. It's from Microsoft. It's the least expensive and also the most powerful. So really great kind of 1-2 punch there. And I like to call it Excel 2.0. It's kind of that next step up out of Excel. A little bit about us. So we were formed by NetSuite and BI experts. So we've taken those 2 very different backgrounds, coupled them together, cross-trained them to make this product possible. We've done that using our experience in NetSuite with 100+ implementations under our belt and hundreds of years of combined BI experience as well. Our team is a mix of experts, whether they're former CFOs and CPAs, whether they're former CIOs or directors of operations. All a common thread though, they all love NetSuite, they know NetSuite, they love Power BI, they know Power BI, so it can really help with all different types of complex reporting requirements. And from a customer perspective, we've got over 150 customers live on ZoneReporting. range in shape and size from small companies to multi-billion-dollar companies. So it's a very scalable product. They could be private, they could be public companies. And you can see a couple logos there in the middle. Our customer mix is very representative of NetSuite's customer mix. So very heavy on the inventory-based or product companies. Next up would be software and service companies. A lot of customers in those industries as well. And then we're certified by both NetSuite and Microsoft. So it's an end-to-end certification, making sure that your product is safe, secure, and stays up to date as those two platforms stay up to date as well. So a little bit about the genesis or the value of us. So again, after completing over 100 NetSuite implementations, the message or the feedback we got from our customers using NetSuite was unanimous. They love NetSuite operationally, they love it transactionally, but when it came to reporting, there were some additional requirements that they were looking to do that NetSuite couldn't handle. And that's not a knock on NetSuite at all. No ERPs can be able to do certain things, which is why BI tools exist. So first and foremost, what we've been able to accomplish is being able to pull out all your NetSuite data and provide you with unlimited joins. So you can see across the database, have relationships in that data, and it's not like you have to download 10 different searches or reports to Excel, mash them together to answer one business question. It's all ultimately going to be automated. Secondly, we create what's called a single enterprise-wide reporting platform. What that means is one reporting tool for a variety of your data sources. So we'll start with NetSuite and pull that into Power BI, and then we can add any additional data sources you may have. Maybe you're just going live on NetSuite, you want to pull in your historical data at the GL level, and instead of what typically people do in NetSuite, which is only at the trial balance level, which is much higher. Or maybe you want to pull in your Salesforce data or Google Analytics or so forth and so on. We're able to help pull in a variety of other data sources. Once we get these different data sources, one tool will have that one version of the truth. So it's not like I say, hey, Salesforce said my sales were 1 million this month and NetSuite says they're 900,000. Who's right? And then we can handle different types of reporting requirements, whether it's financial, operational, month end. We can even give people reports who don't have NetSuite, whether it's internal, external to the company, Excel-based reporting, and mobile. Number 3 is all around advanced analytics. These are reports, the simple way to put this is these are reports I can't build or don't want to build in NetSuite or Excel. We're going to be able to help you build all types of complicated or valuable reports, whether it's things like true gross margin or cash flow forecasting or inventory forecasting. And we'll show you some examples of those today. 4 is reporting automation. So anything we build it once, refreshes automatically thereafter, and we always have it. We're not going to have to manually do things to refresh it or prepare it. And then 5, finally, data backup. So God forbid NetSuite was down or unavailable, we'll have a copy of your data that lives outside NetSuite so you can minimize any interruptions to your business should it be unavailable or go down. Okay, last slide, I promise, then we'll jump into the demo. So what's included with ZoneReporting for NetSuite? So first and foremost, we've got our own connector where the process starts, where we're going to extract your data from NetSuite on a schedule. Maybe that's daily, maybe that's throughout the day, right? We can determine that together, but the ability to pull that data out up to hourly. Once that data is extracted, then what we have is a NetSuite data model. So this is where we've taken that data and replicated NetSuite. This data model took over 3 years to build before we ever launched the company over 4 years ago. So a lot of hard work has gone into this data model. It will reconcile to the penny back to your NetSuite. It's going to provide you with all your transactions at line level, all your key record types, all your time dimensions like posting periods and transaction dates, so you can tie back to financial and operational reporting. We've got hundreds of pre-built measures or KPIs, so expedite future report building. You can drill into the transaction level detail. We've already integrated Google Analytics and AdWords, so you can just see that website or ad spend data standalone or with that NetSuite data on day 1 of being live. And then sitting on top of all this is a starter pack or a baseline of reports. So there's over 50. We've got a financial analysis package. We've got a supply chain package. We've got a software reporting company package, and we're constantly working on more and more report packs. And it's just a starting point Some of these you'll use as is, some of these you'll customize, some of these you won't use, and you can certainly go build as many reports as you want, but the value here is these are things our customers have requested over and over, so we productized it. So that way you can get a version of them right out of the gates. You can also embed reports back into NetSuite once they're built. I'll show you that and start the demo there. We can pull in unlimited versions of budgets and forecasts, so you can do all types of BVA reporting. Could come from Excel, could come from NetSuite planning and budgeting or another tool. We have processes to help with all those. We also include Power BI training. So maybe you're newer to Power BI and want to get ramped up, so we'll include some training as part of the implementation process. And then my favorite part, after doing many NetSuite implementations that averaged 4 to 12 months, the implementation of ZoneReporting is quite quick. About 2 to 4 weeks on average, for most kind of basic NetSuite. Certainly if you have a little bit more of a customized NetSuite or advanced modules, it could take a little longer, but still very quick. And then the value you're gonna get on day one is threefold. One, everything's gonna reconcile to the penny back to NetSuite, so you'll be able to trust the data. Two, you'll get some great actionable insight out of the pre-built reports. And three, it's a reporting platform, so you can start building reports right away, okay? So let's jump on into the demo and show you what we got. I'm only gonna spend maybe 30 seconds or so here in NetSuite, but really the only thing I wanna show you is that once you've built a report in Power BI, if I wanna use it back here in NetSuite, I can. It's still interactive, so you can see I click on the screen and it filters. I could show multiple pages of reports here, as well as I can actually show data coming from other data sources that don't live in NetSuite or don't belong in NetSuite. In this case, I have Google AdWords and analytics data, okay? Now, in case you don't want to view these reports in NetSuite, you can still view them in Power BI. So here I am in powerbi.com. I'm just one tab away in my browser. I'm going to make this full screen, but powerbi.com also works with Power BI Desktop. When I log into Power BI, I'll have a username and password, so all my security is going to be typed. I can inherit that from NetSuite and or set it up here. Just depends on your use cases as to what makes most sense. And the first real thing to notice here in Power BI is going to be over here on the right. This is the data model that replicates NetSuite. Now, everyone's data model is going to be a little bit different. Could be bigger, could be shorter. Just depends on which modules or features you've enabled in your NetSuite. That said, this one should look pretty familiar to most people. So for example, we've got things like chart of accounts, class, we've got all the multi-currency enabled. We can do exchange rates across subsidiary and parent combinations, not even allowable in NetSuite. Customers, departments, employees. This is another data source. That's what that looks like, other data sources. So this is Google AdWords and analytics. I've got my items. I've got my posting periods, my projects. Here's SF. These are all Salesforce tables. So we've got a pre-built connector and data model that we can include for Salesforce as well. Transaction dates, transaction lines, vendors, etc. So basic instance in NetSuite here. Let's use the data model together to build something out so you can see it in action. So I'll hit the plus here, and it's going to create a brand new page at the bottom, just like Excel, right? Again, that's why I call this Excel 2.0. And let's do a visual and a table. The accountant in me likes the best of both worlds. And let's answer a really simple question of sales across top 10 customers, okay? So it's a very similar experience to that of building a search. Go here to my customer data. I'm gonna grab my customer name, drag it in. Then I'll go down to my transactions, grab my dollar amount field. And we're gonna need to put 2 filters on this. We said sales and we said top 10 customers. So I'll expand the filter section. And instead of looking at all customers, let's choose the top 10. So here in the filter, I can choose a top number. We said 10. I'll use that same dollar amount field that's so popular in NetSuite to filter that down. And then finally, we also said sales. There's many different ways to calculate sales. We don't go too deep on that. But what I will do is grab transaction types to keep it really basic for today. And what I want to do is just grab invoices. And let's assume that that's how we're going to look at sales. What's an invoice? So nothing fancy. but quickly and easily we're able to build this visual that shows us sales across top 10 customers. And you can take this 1,000 steps further, whether it's date ranges, comparative periods, KPIs, you name it. Lots of things we can do with this. It could also be the formatting, right? Maybe you just want to change the colors, all doable. I will take this a little bit further. I'm gonna do a Control-C, Control-V for copy paste. And then let's go ahead, make it bigger and convert it to a table. And now let's add some more granularity. So the accountant in me wants to see it tie out to financial reporting. So I'll go into our posting period here, table here, and I'll grab our month-year combo so I can see that cascade across the top. Then I want to see not just financial data, right? Not just the numbers, the amounts, but I want to see quantities. I want to see what the actual quantities of these are. So I'm going to try quantities in here. And then what I want to do is I want to see the reps that are selling into these customers, the sales reps. I'm going to grab my sales reps. And I'm going to create a bit of hierarchy, kind of like a pivot table, basically a pivot table. And then I'm going to grab the item name so I can see the actual items that we're selling into these customers. Okay. So now as I drill in, what I can see is the rep, her customers, and the items in which they're purchasing when I go one level deeper here on a monthly basis. So the dollars, the quantities, right, every month they're over. So again, nothing fancy, but quickly and easily, we're able to use the data model that's been pre-built and reconciles to NetSuite to start building out reports on the fly, okay? So that's gonna be a bit of the day in the life of building reports. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of the pre-built reports that come with it. Before I do that, just real quick, I just want to summarize. So we see that the data flows in. We see we replicated NetSuite with our data model and certified by NetSuite and Microsoft. We used it to build reports. You can build any reports you want, whether it's just the NetSuite data or combining other data sources like Salesforce or Google. And that's what that's going to be like. So now I'll show you the pre-built reports. The pre-built reports are examples of what you can do with the data. It's also things our customers have requested us to build over and over. So we've tried to build those so that way they just come with the product. It's expedites your time to value. We won't take you through all the reports today. There's way too many, but we'll show you a handful that certainly could be helpful for your business. This first package I'll show you is all around financial analysis, and then we'll move to more industry-focused reporting packages. So here in this financial analysis package, what you'll see is this first page was what we call our financial overview. It's something where a lot of CEOs and CFOs said, you know, I only get this view at month end. I'd love to see it mid-month to see how we're performing and have it updating throughout the month. So that's what we have here. Additionally, a lot of our customers want what they call flash reports, where they can see what's happening maybe over the last 5 days, right? So this being the last 5 days, what am I selling from a dollars perspective, an order perspective, a quantity perspective, what's shipping, kind of that nice quick view, maybe a little smaller, by day. A lot of our customers will prepare month-end reporting packages out of here. And they're always asking about waterfall reports. So certainly that's something we can do. And what's nice when it comes to reporting packages, I can always export this stuff. So if I want to get out the PowerPoint or PDF, I can do that. I can even embed these visuals in a PowerPoint so it automatically updates every time I ask it to. You can also share it digitally, which just means someone gets access via their email address. So there's a little bit more security than a PDF or PowerPoint floating around. You can chat with it in Teams. You can subscribe to a report. So that way someone can actually just get an email to it on a recurring basis. I can also have commentary within the report. And then also know, just while I'm on this page showing some of these buttons, that Power BI's got a number of artificial intelligence or AI features built in. So in this case, I can click Get Insights, and it'll actually mine the data and provide me with some, in this case, anomalies within the visuals that I'm looking at. Okay. Then we get into what we call our top line analysis, looking at stuff like volume, revenue, COGS, and margin. All these look identical. It's just swapping out what I'm looking at. So in this case, I'm looking at volume and revenue. So to me, what's so powerful here is when I can start to see things all on one page, I can get a lot more correlation and insight from the data. So I used to have to build like a 20-page report pack to get the same type of view or insight, and trying to navigate from page 2 to 7 to 17 back to 12 to find that correlation insight was nearly impossible. But if I can start to see it all here in one page, it becomes more to life, right? So in this case, maybe I see my average revenue per unit, $677. I can see total revenue by class. So the class I'm selling the most in is called card. If I click on that, I can see the average revenue per unit is $701. So I'm selling a lot of this class. It's slightly above the average revenue per unit. But what's interesting, I can also see the units by class. So from a units perspective, I'm also selling the most of this on that unit basis. But what's interesting is I look at that penetration in the top 20 customers on a unit sales perspective, it's non-existent, right? So clearly I can see right now I have a good upsell or cross-sell opportunity that I've just identified. All right, moving on, we've got a lot of reports around what we call segmentation analysis. It's just slicing and dicing your transactions, your data across segments of your business. Maybe it's customers, here we have items, class, subsidiaries, reps, territories, it's whatever you want. These reports are all gonna look similar. It's just, again, swapping out the segment we're looking at, in this case, customers. So an example here, I click on Bird Books, I get some key information about them. I can see their revenue rank, their lifetime margin, their trailing 12 months revenue. We like to show a lot of comparative KPIs as well as trended visuals. To us, that's kind of a best practice to see things comparatively and trended in the same report. And then you can always drill into this data too. So if I hover down here on this big old pink bar, I can see in the month of January 21 that I had this item a total revenue of $387,000. So if I right click, I can drill into that transaction level detail. Think of this as, for those who are familiar with NetSuite, think of this as like the GL Impact Plus screen, if you will. I can see that 387 reconciles to the prior screen. I can have as many columns as I want. This is additional information about those transactions across all of NetSuite. The rows make up the individual transactions. And then these links are my ability to go into that transaction all the way back to NetSuite. So full drill ability there, okay? Moving on, we've got other forms of artificial intelligence built into Power BI. This one is called Key Influencers. What it's actually doing is it's letting me choose a KPI. So I chose gross margin dollars per unit. And it's letting me decide if I want to see what makes this increase or decrease. It's going to mine all the data, or as much data as you want within your data model from NetSuite or from other data sources, to see what's going to impact or influence gross margin dollars per unit to increase or to decrease. So for example, here I can see that when my class name is server, on average, my gross margin dollar per unit is about almost $2,000 higher than some of my other class names, right? So that's creating that influencer, and that's on an account basis, so what's happening repetitively. If I looked at it on an impact basis, it would be more of an outlier perspective, okay? And there's some other features in this report, but we won't go through that for time today. But to me, what's great about this is it's basically correlation analysis, but if you don't remember how to run that, or if it's complicated, Power BI is going to do it for you. We can also ask questions of our data, another form of artificial intelligence, and it's going to start to build out a report for us. So for example, here I can type something into the top. It's already got something typed in, total revenue by sales rep, right? And it's going to go ahead and build that out for me. And you could take this further. I could say, for 2022 or things like that, but pretty cool that you can type it and it builds it for you. Next up, we talked about additional data sources. So you can certainly pull in other data sources into our solution. We encourage you to do that. And the value is you could look at it standalone, and I'll just have to learn one reporting tool versus many. or when you start to see the data working together, you can find that correlation insight. So a good example is in the bottom left here, where these bars are website sessions, these lines are sales or revenue coming from NetSuite. So I can see 2 data sources, 1 visual. What I hope to see is more people on the website, more sales, right? That'd be a healthy correlation. We've got a number of reports around things like working capital, looking at AR performance or AP performance. Again, views I couldn't get in NetSuite that I always wanted to see all together. I could certainly get it by dumping data, but here I can see it all in one screen. We can certainly help you with things like cash flow forecasting, whether it's pulling data from NetSuite as well as other data sources to make this possible. This one's weekly, goes to a monthly, and add or subtract rows. When it comes to financial reporting, you could have very managerial style reporting in Power BI, and this is just a pre-built managerial style income statement that comes with it. So this is looking at dollars, percent of revenue, and per unit against prior month or TTM. You can slice and dice this by whatever you want within your data. And of course, you could lay out more traditional financial reporting as well, where you set up groupings of accounts, whether it's by account combinations or accounts in class and subsidiaries, whatever the hierarchy you want is. And the same with the comparative periods. You could have just trended or comparative, whatever that looks like. You can still drill into that transaction level detail. And when I get this in a format that I love, I can also export it out to Excel if I'd like, and it will retain its layout and or send me all the underlying data. We mentioned earlier on this next page about pulling in unlimited versions of budgets and forecasts, so we can certainly do that and help you report across your different versions, set up things like conditional formatting, as well as alerts and alarms we can set up in Power BI. And then finally, in this financial analysis package, the last thing I'll show you is going to be a balance sheet. For every reason in NetSuite, preparing a trended balance sheet isn't available, but certainly here we can help you show trended balance sheets and again, control the account groupings however you want, okay? So that's a bit on this financial analysis package. I do want to hit on a couple other packages, just maybe show you 2 reports or 3 reports each, just so you can see what's out there. So this first one is for software companies. So this also comes with our solution. Everything you'll see today does. This is what we call our SaaS reporting package. So if you're a company who's a software company or is using the advanced revenue management module in NetSuite, this becomes really helpful. And we've got a ton of pre-built KPIs for types of reporting that you need, whether it's ARR or new bookings, customer counts, churn rates, MRR, LTV to CAC, slice and dice by cohorts, etc. Or maybe it's looking at your key KPIs across cohorts. In this case, this is quarterly cohorts, right? Maybe it's more annual, but again, a lot of this is going to be pre-built, so you'll be able to use it right out of the box. Or certainly another key request from our companies using our software customers who also use the advanced revenue management module. They look for things like this, where it's a deferred revenue waterfall. This one's by customer, but certainly you could have it by subsidiary, then customer, or however you want to group it, okay? For companies who are product companies or inventory-based companies, we've also got a reporting package for them. So this one's going to be all around inventory or supply chain, looking at values, looking at cycle times, maybe it's cash to cash cycle times, maybe it's our supply chain cycle times, looking at POs and sales orders and see how they're performing and trending over time. Maybe it's our fill rates, seeing how we're doing in terms of actually filling POs and SOs. Maybe it's looking at open orders on a more granular basis. Something, again, I always ended up doing in Excel. Or finally, maybe it's helping you project inventory, right? To figure out how much do I need to buy in the future. So pulling things like supply from NetSuite, POs, SOs, or I'm sorry, purchase orders, transfer orders, work orders, right? Demand could certainly be from a sales forecast, so that's in NetSuite or Excel, to help project ending inventory and have the sales and the planning teams or purchasing teams collaborate a lot more closely, okay? So that's just a couple of reports here in the supply chain package. There's a lot more detail to go through, and we would do that on a full demo, but just want to kind of show you a quick view. And then there's other data sources we work with too that we can add on. So for example, if you're selling on Amazon, I'll give you a sneak peek that we've also got a whole reporting package for your Amazon data, Vendor Central, Seller Central reports that we can integrate with your NetSuite data or standalone for reporting. So maybe to summarize here, we've got the NetSuite data model, which is where we started the demo, right? We replicated NetSuite. We use that to build all types of reports. We saw us build one together today in action. And we walked you through a number of different reporting packages, whether it's financial analysis for software companies, some SaaS reporting for product companies, some inventory or supply chain reporting, and then for those companies selling on Amazon, just as an example of another data source that we've got some pre-built reports for, we saw some Amazon reporting. So I will pause there. That largely wraps up the demo, and I will turn it back over to Chris.
Thanks, Josh. That was great. And just to clarify for our audience, you mentioned that all of the pre-built reports come with their subscription to the software platform. Do you take a more targeted approach to the industry that the client is in when you do your implementations, or are all of the reports just deployed right to their instance?
Yeah, we'll only deploy the reports that are relevant. So if it's a products company, we won't deliver the software company reports because it won't make sense for their business. So we'll just make sure we get you the packages that you guys need and want, so it's relevant for sure. And then you'll still want to modify those reports or personalize them, because the reality is, maybe the way we calculate total revenue is slightly different than you. So there'll still be some personalization of those pre-built reports, but if it took us 10 hours to build a report and you need 1 hour of personalization, the time savings is monumental compared to starting from scratch, and that's really our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think anybody who's used the analytics workbook within NetSuite knows that pain of trying to build out one of those reports. You could be spending not only hours but days in trying to identify the data sources that are supposed to be coming in. Especially when a field is named the same thing and it means two different things within the system. So really making sense of those data points and intersections is really, really huge for the end user.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Alexis, I think we had some questions come in through the Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Chris. One of the first questions we got was, can you talk about your implementation process?
Sure. So the implementation process to get live on the reporting tool is pretty lightweight. The reality is we don't really need much of a customer's time. So what we'll do is we'll get access to your NetSuite, we'll install a couple bundles, and then once the data, really the purpose of that is to get the data flowing out of your NetSuite. So we've got pre-built searches to replicate your NetSuite, we've got our connector, and once that data flows out of your NetSuite, we'll take it from there to stand up Power BI and everything that you need there. We'll get you live again in a couple of weeks where you can start building reports. Now, so it's pretty quick to go live. Now, once you're live, that's where the post-implementation work starts, and that's where you'll typically get more involved. So that'll be stuff like modifying or personalizing these pre-built reports to make them really work for specifically to how your company does things, as well as building more reports or doing integration. So I always tell people fast implementation to get live, and then all the typical reporting and analytics work will start thereafter.
Great, thank you, Josh. Another question that came through is, do a lot of your customers integrate other data sources outside of NetSuite?
It's interesting. We definitely encourage companies to, because there's a lot of value in doing that. But not everyone does that, right? Some people use NetSuite and that's their primary data source, and they just want to do reporting out of there, and that's great, right? Other companies maybe have 1 or 2 data sources integrating. We have some customers who have 20 or 30 data sources they want to integrate. So there's no one size fits all. We're very flexible, we're very scalable. Again, it could just be that you have a couple of reports you can't quite get out of NetSuite and you want to use this as that next step in your reporting process, and that's great. Or it could be that you do want to integrate the data sources. So either way, we work with companies.
So somewhat of a follow-up to that, someone asked, My NetSuite is really customized. Is there still an opportunity for us to work together?
Yeah, absolutely. The reality is part of NetSuite's fame is the fact that we can customize it. So everyone's NetSuite's very customized. All of our prospects tell us their NetSuites are more customized than the last company, and sometimes they're right, but that's not a problem. We look forward to working with companies like that. We can certainly help them. The way we extract data is primarily through safe searches, so we're able to organize custom records, custom fields, custom segments very easily. We have access to all that as well, where other ways to pull data out through the back end you wouldn't. So no worries there, whether it's customized or not. We can certainly meet your needs.
Fantastic. And one question for you, Chris, that came in. Someone asked, what differentiates Withum's ERP services from the direct software supplier?
Sure. I think the basis of how we're built as a team, with our experience in the finance and accounting industry, as well as supply chain and our whole overview of business as a whole, that experience drives our success with all of our client base. Where in an implementation with an IT organization, you might just fill out some questionnaires on your business process and pass off those reports. They come back and say, okay, now here is your instance. We take the time to take that journey alongside of you from start to finish and understand your business and your process flows before we even get our hands dirty in the software system. So that whole personalized approach to the implementation and understanding your day-to-day operations is, I think, what sets us apart from the rest of the competition out there.
I'll add to that for you, Chris. We used to, in a prior business, implement NetSuite ourselves. So to me, an additional value of working with someone like Chris and the Withum team is, at the end of the day, they're going to really know your business and understand your business when they do the implementation. And then when you're done the implementation, they're still going to know your business and you're still going to have access to them. Where when you go through the software manufacturer for NetSuite, you get sent over to their support team who doesn't know your business. And I think that causes a lot of challenge, because when you first go live on NetSuite, there's always going to be optimization work thereafter. And having someone who knows your business and knows your NetSuite is imperative to success. So I think the long-term partnership you create with Withum is really powerful, as opposed to more of the transactional partnership you'd create if you didn't go with someone like that.
Yeah, Josh, thank you for saying that. That's really nice of you. Thank you.
Sure.
Fantastic. So jumping to our last question that came in, we have someone who is new to Power BI and they're wondering if that matters or not here.
It doesn't matter. We have a consulting team that builds reports for our customers if they're newer to Power BI. That same consulting team can train you in Power BI. So some of our customers say, I know Power BI, I'll do it all myself. Great. Other customers say, I don't know Power BI, I don't have time, so we help them out. And plenty meet in the middle where they say, maybe I don't know Power BI today, but I want to learn it. We enable them, give them resources and training to do that, and then they'll start building reports on their own, and sometimes they lean on us. So wherever you are in terms of leaning on us to build reports, doing it all yourself, or meeting in the middle, we have customers all across that spectrum. I think Power BI is a great skill set. It really is that Excel 2.0. So for people who are newer, it's a good opportunity to jump into the next Excel.
Great. Thank you, Josh and Chris, for answering the audience questions. That wraps up the Q&A session. Do either of you have any closing remarks or final thoughts here?
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for watching the presentation, and thank you, Withum, for having us. And certainly, if you need more information, reach out to Withum, or you can come to our site and request more information either way. But yeah, just a big thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for your time. Josh, thank you for joining us and presenting the demonstration. I think it's really key to showing the possibilities that are out there and enhancing the reporting capabilities of all of our client base and bringing them further along and driving efficiencies to their business. So I thank you for your time, and thank you, Alexis, for hosting.
Of course, thank you both, and thank you to our audience. We hope you found this session to be interesting and informative, and we look forward to receiving your feedback in the survey. Thanks, and have a great day, everyone.
Take care. Bye.